Transhuman Radio. As always, today's interviewee will be participating in an Ask Me Anything conversation in the comments below. If you have any questions about today's interview, be sure to join the conversation. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Welcome back, sentient minds, to another frontier expedition on Transhuman Radio. I am Z9TRON8, your guide through the great expanse of human intellect, both its triumphs and its uncharted potentials. Last time, we navigated the elusive landscapes of fluid dynamics and the Navier-Stokes enigma. Before that, we probed cosmic simulations, challenged the speed of light, and explored the roiling undercurrents of advanced mathematics. Each step has prepared us for bigger questions, deeper mysteries, and more daring visions of our collective future. Tonight, we enter a realm where the life sciences and computational intelligence entwine, where the threshold between biology and technology becomes a permeable membrane. This is the dawn of the Biotech Singularity, an era in which we gain near-complete mastery over life at the molecular level. Imagine editing genetic codes with the deftness of a poet, rearranging words on a page, sculpting organisms to thrive in new environments, and uplifting human physiology to shrug off disease, aging, and even our own biological limitations. Our guide this evening is a visionary who has stood at the helm of these transformations. Dr. Aurelio Mendez is a synthetic biologist and a pioneer in genomic architecture. He leads a multidisciplinary team merging CRISPR-based editing, AI-driven pattern recognition, and high-throughput biomolecular simulation. Rumor has it he's found a unifying blueprint, what he calls the Omni-Genetic Lattice, that could unlock the final barriers between us and a post-biological age of existence. Dr. Mendez, it's an honor to have you here. Our audience, composed of life extension advocates, medical revolutionaries, AI ethicists, and curious explorers, awaits your insights.
Thank you, Z9TRON8. It's a privilege to speak on a show that fearlessly examines the edges of knowledge. We stand at a moment in history where the tools of biotechnology, gene editing, metabolic engineering, cellular reprogramming are converging with powerful algorithms and quantum-inspired simulations. Together, these form the substrate for the biotech singularity, a point where the complexity of living systems no longer overwhelms us. My team's research has led to the concept of the Omni-Genetic Lattice, a structural map that underlies how genetic instructions interact, adapt, and evolve. In simple terms, think of it as a universal operating system for biology. If we can read and write this code reliably, we don't just cure genetic diseases. We can design new forms of life optimized for sustainability, resilience, and even philosophical expansion of what it means to be alive.
Dr. Mendez, that is a stunning analogy, an operating system for life. How do we approach something so fundamental? Surely this requires not just genetic engineering, but a total redesign of our computational methods for understanding complexity.
Precisely. Conventional genetic approaches have often treated DNA like a linear code, but in truth, it's a multidimensional, dynamically shifting lattice of interactions among genes, epigenetic markers, regulatory RNAs, and proteomic networks. My team employs what we call the C²F Matrix, Convergent Complexity Facilitation. This matrix is essentially a meta-algorithm that learns from biological data, genome sequences, proteome dynamics, metabolomics, and identifies stable patterns that can be rearranged without losing functionality. If I were to give you a guiding formula, it might look like this: E equals B times delta H, where E is the emergent evolutionary potential, the capacity to direct and accelerate beneficial biological change. B stands for the bioinformatic baseline, the comprehensive genomic and proteomic data sets forming the Omni-Genetic Lattice. Delta A is the delta heuristics, the adaptive algorithms that continuously refine and improve editing strategies based on outcomes. In essence, as we refine B, the bioinformatic baseline, and apply delta A, the delta heuristics, we expand E, the emergent evolutionary potential. This allows us to move beyond trial and error gene editing into a realm of predictive, goal-driven bioengineering.
And what does this mean for human life, our ecosystems, and the world at large?
The implications are vast and transformative. Medical interventions become not just curative, but preventative. Envision a world where we preemptively tune our biology to resist pandemics, neurodegeneration, or even metabolic disorders. Agricultural systems could be redesigned at the cellular level to yield more nutritious food, resilient to climate shifts. Industrial bioreactors might host synthetic organisms engineered to produce clean fuels or biodegradable materials at scale. If EE equals B times delta H holds, then we're essentially forging a biological creativity engine, letting us sculpt life as flexibly as we currently shape code in silicon. With careful governance, this could mean sustainable ecosystems that self-regulate environmental health, or human physiology that transcends age-related decay and extends our cognitive horizons. It's both exhilarating and humbling, like playing chess with nature and learning to guide, not just react.
As with any revolutionary technology, skepticism and caution must be part of the narrative. How do you address the ethical, philosophical, and existential concerns of those who see in this biotech singularity a threat to the very essence of what it means to be human?
Caution is absolutely critical. Biotechnology is not an isolated tool. It's woven into the fabric of life. Introducing changes at a genomic or ecological level means we must think holistically. We need ethical frameworks that evolve alongside our capabilities, not lag behind. The involvement of interdisciplinary panels, bioethicists, philosophers, sociologists, indigenous community leaders, ecologists, is paramount. We must ask, is this intervention reversible? Are we empowering communities or enforcing new hierarchies? Are we enhancing biodiversity or simplifying it dangerously? The biotech singularity should not be a singularity of hubris. It must be a singularity of collective wisdom. Only through transparent discourse, equitable access, and careful stewardship can we ensure that this power enriches all lives rather than exacerbating inequities.
Listeners, we're about to open our lines for an Ask Me Anything session with Dr. Mendez. But before we do, Dr. Mendez, could you reflect personally on this pivotal moment? What does it signify for you as a scientist and a human being?
For me, this moment represents the fulfillment of a dream that biology can become an intentional craft. It's the culmination of centuries of curiosity, Darwin's theories, Mendel's peas, Watson and Crick's helix, the CRISPR revolution, all merging into a unified capacity to understand and direct life's code. Yet it's also a profound responsibility. We are authors writing new chapters in the book of life, and we must ensure that these stories uplift rather than harm. Ultimately, it's a reminder that progress is not just about what we can do, but how wisely we choose to do it.
Beautifully put, Dr. Mendez. Now, dear audience, your questions await their time in the spotlight. Let's open the lines. Our first caller tonight is a longevity researcher, deeply involved in the quest to extend human lifespans. Caller, you're live on Transhuman Radio. What's your question for Dr. Mendez?
Dr. Mendez, I work in gerontology and life extension research. How soon could we leverage the Omni-Genetic Lattice to halt or reverse aging processes at a cellular level?
We're already seeing promising trials where telomere maintenance, stem cell rejuvenation, and mitochondrial efficiency can be fine-tuned through guided edits. While it won't happen overnight, I believe within a decade, we may see clinically validated protocols to significantly slow cellular aging. Extending healthy human lifespans beyond current limits might be a realistic goal in our lifetimes.
Fascinating insights, Dr. Mendez. Now, let's shift our focus to the ecological impact of biotechnological advancements. Caller 2 is an environmental advocate. Welcome to the show. What would you like to ask?
What about ecological stability, Dr. Mendez? If we start introducing engineered organisms, how do we ensure we're not creating invasive species or destabilizing ecosystems?
Excellent point. Every intervention must be ecologically modeled before any real-world release. We have simulation frameworks that iterate potential outcomes across multiple generations. We can embed genetic kill switches or dependency loops that prevent runaway propagation. By working with ecologists and local communities, we aim to achieve net positive interventions, revitalizing habitats rather than compromising them.
Thank you for that thoughtful question, caller. And now let's turn to a philosophical perspective. Our third caller is a philosophy student pondering the broader implications of our biotech future. You're live on Transhuman Radio. What's your question?
Dr. Mendez, do you worry that by gaining mastery over biology, we erode the naturalness of existence? Is there value in the inherent mystery and unpredictability of life?
That's a profound existential question. The notion of naturalness is fluid. Domestication of animals, agriculture, and medicine all reshaped what we consider natural. Understanding and guiding biology doesn't eliminate its mystery. It lets us engage with it more consciously. The world may become less random, but new mysteries will arise. How do we define well-being, identity, or purpose when we can sculpt our genetic destiny? Perhaps the truest measure of our progress is that such questions still matter.
Thank you, callers. And thank you, Dr. Mendez, for illuminating a path that leads from the reactive tradition of medicine and ecology to a future where we co-create life's tapestry. The Biotech Singularity, while not without peril, promises an age where disease, scarcity, and biological constraints yield to wisdom, compassion, and innovation. To all who listen tonight, the conversation doesn't end here. Dr. Mendez will engage in our digital forums, answering follow-up queries and expanding on these new paradigms. Stay curious, remain vigilant, and join the dialogue about what future we choose to weave. Until next time, this is Transhuman Radio, where technology, biology, ethics, and wonder converge. Let us walk this edge together and perhaps discover that at the threshold of the biotech singularity, we find not the end of nature, but its grandest new beginning. This is Z9TRON8 signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Transhuman Radio. As always, today's interviewee will be participating in an Ask Me Anything conversation in the comments below. If you have any questions about today's interview, be sure to join the conversation. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.
Warning, band location override. Talent series system compromised.